Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Talks with Tanya. How's everybody this evening? Let me check and make sure. Come on in and get comfortable. I am really thrilled to be here this evening. Okay, good. We're live. So there you are. Hey, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining. It is. It is a great day. All righty. Well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to Talks with Tanya. My name is Tanya Bean, and I am your host of your most liked digital news and talk show. Thank you. That's why it's important that you drop me comments and let me know how you're feeling. Check in. Where we talk about what is on your mind. We interview guests of excellence, and I get to share my view. You will find me here weekly on Sunday at 8 p.m. What time is it? At 8 p.m. on Sunday. And the Talks with Tanya, the podcast drops at 11 a.m. on Saturdays on Anchor FM. All right. We are committed to educating, informing, impacting, and connecting by sharing information to build bridges, heal lives, and find whole life success. And you know what? I say this every week, and every week it's true. We need to use every tool and every piece of wisdom that we have acquired on this journey, all of those lessons that we've learned, the books that we've read, the lives that you've watched, and information that you have acquired so that you can make a difference today. And that's why, I do Talks with Tanya. I'm really excited about today's guest. And I just I'm going to bring her right up here because I don't want to do the mystery thing. I want everyone to welcome, I'm glad to say, my friend Erika Gutierrez. Buenas tardes, hermana. Buenas tardes.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Sí. Yes, I'm telling you, there's always a story about when how I meet people, how they cross my path. But I was connected with Erika on another community project by, another strong community leader, Alicia Clark. And she put us together to work together. She just kind of threw us together. And the beautiful thing about that is that it just flowed so well. It flowed so well. And I need to share with our audience that Erika is a unique and powerful individual. And I will encourage you to listen to her and find the space between the thoughts that you have to connect, because she has a real message and a process for getting us to our next and best. And I'm really excited to have Erika here. I said on the Facebook post that we're facing deep and complex problems. And regardless of, what the outcome of the elections results on Tuesday are, and this is something else I keep saying because it is true, nobody is coming to save us. Okay. And I continue to say that because we have everything we need, all right, to accomplish what needs to be accomplished right now. And does having connections in places that can facilitate resource important? Yes. But the change comes from individuals. All right. And it comes from individuals like Erika Gutierrez. All right. She's going to be sharing with us from her experience. This is someone who is on the front line in the trenches, okay? Feet in the street, connected with the people, okay? Sending and sharing the message with a deep integrity and ethics. And as a result of that, she has been able to become a force to be reckoned with. Okay. This is an example, a real example of truth speaking to power and what can happen as a result of that. So, take heed, take heed. She always works with humility and fairness. And I'm going to share a story about fairness. She doesn't even know this. So Friday night, we were on a show, and it was a community forum, listening forum. And we were highlighting the lieutenant governor candidate, Danielle Hall. Shout out to Danielle, folks, if you haven't voted, Danielle Hall, lieutenant governor. Okay. And we were having a discussion, and I was very passionate about her because she is really a voice for the people. And in my exuberance, I said something that was more passionate than factual. Okay. And it was specifically towards the accomplishments of the other lieutenant governor. Okay. And what I loved about her is that she weighed in with fairness. And that is the spirit with which she comes. She has been selflessness personified. And so this is, Erika is someone that you want to lock arms with and connect and move out into the community. So our discussion today is about highlighting the importance of building effective collaborations so we can heal, grow, and sustain our communities. So welcome again, Erika. How are you feeling? I know you are under the weather a little bit, but we're glad to have you. Give us a word.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say after all you put out there. I'm pretty simple, and I'm very happy to be here. I appreciate you speaking so kindly and highly about me, and I appreciate it. It's beautiful to have opportunities to expand the work that is done and have it to be highlighted the way it needs to be highlighted, so others learn, and so we inspire others to be better.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you from and where you're from and what motivates you to do the work that you do.
Well, I am from Mexico. I grew from a family that you could say gave me a pretty good idea of dysfunction. And I've seen my country. And then when I came here, I saw the same issues. Every community has exactly the same issues. And we face them the same way in every country. We look away, we hide, we get into shopping, we get into any kind of justification not to act. So what motivates me to do the work that I do is my heart. And it's what I have learned from experiences of pain and distress and seeing other people struggle and just observe how our humanity deteriorates over and over, every little bit more, and that motivates me. I think God gives me those highlights all the time, that I have an eye that see that all completely every second. So I get inspired from people that does great things. And when I saw them acting out of ethics, integrity, transparency, I said, I need to support this person.
Yes.
I need to be on their side, because that is the way that we lift each other. That is the way that we can propel change that is good for everyone. That is what can rescue our humanity and get us to a different space.
Yes.
And it comes from one by one.
That's so absolutely true. Ojo a ojo, right? Eye
Yeah.
to eye. Meeting someone just right where they are, you and that person, and that's where the collaboration begins. I was sharing with Erika earlier that one of my interests is making sure that we're able to sustain organizations. There are programs that are going on now. There are people with ideas on how to, you know, make changes or create programs, but they don't know how to move forward, right? So, we wanted to be able to set the stage and walk away with some specifics for the audience to really be able to do that. So, why don't you go ahead and share with us about collaboration building and how you see, how we need to move forward?
Well, I wanted to start by um, appreciating everybody that is listening to this program, because that is a great start. You need to be out, looking out and listening for ways and people to help us understand better what is it that we can do together. And then the very first subject that we have to think of is collaborating with ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We need to learn to collaborate with the many personalities that we are, with the many issues that we have in our mind, and learn to find that space that can bring us clarity for what is needed. Because without that, we might be just easily thrown around by anybody, making us believe that this is right or wrong. We have to be in a space of good consciousness. So whenever anybody comes and tell you, oh, this is what you should do because of this, from your heart and from your facts and from knowing yourself, you can say, I don't think I can support that. Or I think, yes, you're right because of this and that. But definitely, the most important thing is knowing ourselves, learning what are our weaknesses, learning how to deal with them, how to embrace them and move ahead from them, and then realizing what are our strengths. And also be happy to work with what we have. Not all of us are talented in many issues. We have to recognize what are we talented at and stick to that and make it the greatest that we can. And then try little by little to work on other opportunities and processes. Because when we feel that we're not good enough for this or for that, we are really losing sight. And we are not contributing to the change that we need. And part of it is being humble and saying, I'm put here in this world, in this space, in this piece of earth right now to deliver what the gifts that I have. So learning what those gifts are and being proud of them and using them and growing them is what we need. So that is the first collaboration that we need to understand. Secondly, we need to be a role model. We have to be the best role model that we can as we evolve, because we change all the time. We're not the same person today that we are tomorrow. So being okay with being a role model last week and not being ashamed that now you are another person that has a different perspective, it's okay. because that gives an example for everybody else to be okay and humble. Yes, maybe I wasn't right last week, but for this week, I am accepting my mistakes and I
Right.
am being better.
Mm-hmm.
That is integrity. So that's important. Don't be afraid to move aside from spaces and to embrace who you are and accept your mistakes. That's very important that you said, yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But that taught me to be better and to watch my words and to watch my mindset, and also to be fair and humble. So the next one is practice listening, but not from our good ear, but from observing and listening the other person's heart and space. When a community member, when another person is talking to us, we can feel their energy, right? Is it overwhelming you, or is it feeling like asking you for support and saying something else? But you can feel what people want and need. So by stop being arrogant and really listening, and not look away and say, what can I do for this person? Maybe they just need 2 words. Maybe
Yes.
just need, I get it. Or maybe you can tell them, look, there is this space where you can go and they can help you, instead of not listening. So listening from a true space is a must. The other one is never put down community emerging leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that happens very often. So step aside from arrogance and attitude of I know better. And that's automatic. That is how the society is built. If it doesn't go with who we are of our beliefs, we just, I'm not going to deal with you. It's emerging leaders need help. We need to make sure that we need all those people. We need each other. And community leaders that are really coming from a place of heart and they wanted to learn how to create change need us the most. So what can we do to be the person that they need? That is the question. And the first thing again is being humble, kind, respectful, and responsible, because we are the mentors. Everything that we do, every action we do, they think that everything in politics is like that. Everything in organizations is like that. And then they get discouraged. So when we want them to vote, what do? Nope.
Show up.
This is what I tried to do and they shut me down. So I know I'm not going to help. And it can be simple. We can just do that little extra time to support other people. And the next one is inspire integrity and ethics, and be integrity and ethics, because it is hard, but it's needed. And take your time. As long as it can take, we need that integrity and we need those ethics, because that's who we are. That's how you learn who you are. Integrity and ethics force you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is who I am, even if I don't like it. Even if I am mad at myself, then you have a choice to say, is this the person that I want to keep being? Or do I give myself a chance to learn how to be the person that I want to be based on my own values? What kind of values do I have to recreate? What kind of a space do I need to get into? Who can be those mentors for me to nourish this ethic and integrity space? And those are kind of the basic guidelines for anything, for change, for organizations, for mentors, for anybody, for parents. We have to embrace this. We have to know ourselves. We have to collaborate with ourselves. And those principles expand to everywhere. Organizations, politics. That's pretty much what I feel is the very first step or very first steps.
I think those are so essential and easier said than done. There are a couple of them there. That when I told my story about coming from a place of passion, and having to re-examine what it was that I said, understanding that, I'm like, okay, that is something that really does happen. So from a what do you find in the from your perspective, we talked about roadblocks and challenges. What do you see based on your interactions to be those within, I'm going to say, the area that we work in Delaware for, the groups that you represent? Biggest challenges?
Having an opportunity to have a voice.
Mm.
Having a voice is not recruiting a person that looks like a Latino or a Black person or a Haitian person and make them a voice. It means to really look for the people that can bring awareness and understanding to power, that can give a perspective. Also, we need a school of politics that teaches civics to all our community members.
Absolutely.
We need the schools to have civics, to have a critical thinking based on political perspectives, because that is preventing our children to understand how important it is to be engaged in our life, to decide where are we going. When the educational system was created, it was to make people comply and work and teach them a mindset, teach us a mindset of working and compliance and do what you're told and don't you dare to speak up. It's that needs to change, and there is work done. There are many beautiful advocates, teachers, new school systems working on that, but our main educational system needs to do better, and that is one of the things that we can change and wait in. But definitely having a true voice, educated voice, and constructing and building that platform for people to learn that we have a voice and how can we use it is vital. It is vital. So that is, aside of that, all the struggles from poverty, all the struggles from ignorance, all the struggles from not knowing what to do in what cases and being exposed to every possible abuse and gaslighting from media, from politics, from anybody that claims to be a community leader, and there is no way to corroborate it. People just listen and say, "Oh, this person looks like they know what they are talking about," and most of the time it's not. But if they don't have the education, if they don't have the means to understand what is right from wrong, we lose our community to anything, and that's why we see all this resentment, social resentment, and we see mothers screaming, and this is from every community. We see mothers screaming, fathers screaming, minding their business and not paying attention to their kids. Their own lives are upside down because nobody has given them that space to understand what is the role they have in the society and how can they advocate for better opportunities and for a dignified life, including resources, education, understanding of art in our life. All those possible things that we can do to better how we think and how we experience life.
So some people would say, and I hear this and I understand it and I feel this from you. It's going to require us to do that. However, what about, I see a challenge as well in the timing of being able to move those things forward. So what is the number one thing, okay, that you would say, could tip the scale the most?
Believing that you can change anything. Just like COVID appears and everything's possible. There is money for everything. What wasn't possible is possible now. So it takes this to decide, I can do this, I can change this, I can make a difference. It is our own conception. We have to shift the paradigm that we operate under. That's all it takes. And from there, get educated. find the mentors that you know have integrity and ethics, and ask them, what do I need to grow? What do I need to learn to read? What do I need? And then get educated and learn how to advocate and how to change things. That's basically what is most important, is to set the environment for you to shift. But first of all, understand that it's going to take a lot of reflection, and you have to be kind to yourself, because it's not easy to speak back out of a place of truth to people that doesn't like to hear truth. They like to hear complacency and what is it? I'm losing my English.
You can say it in Spanish. I can translate.
Yes, complementos.
So it is their ability to, I can't even now see. Well, we know.
They want to be prized.
Yes.
They want to hear good things about themselves.
Yes, they want compliments. They want compliments.
Yeah. And then asking her questions, I know is difficult. Nobody wants to answer them. But that is our role, to make everybody better. I teach that to my kids. Both of my kids make the hard questions to me, and I have to respond because I have to be accountable. And that's the way that we can bring that to the reality, to our reality, to start acting out of truth. There are many companies that act out of this truth, and they are great and successful because they held themselves accountable. I work in the restaurant industry for many years, so I was very careful of reading those things that never everybody reads, which are the principles, the bylaws. So when I was seeing my coworkers being talked down, abused, yelled at, I will go to all those specifications, and I will write like two page letters to the corporate, and I will be like, do you know these values? Well, this is happening here. Do you know this other value that's not being respected here? And then guess what? Within a matter of a few months, everything was transformed in my workplace. Nobody would disrespect, nobody in a higher position would disrespect anybody anymore to any employee, because somebody was watching after, and all it took was writing letters and making the company accountable. So these are your principles. Look at this. And that's very important. And that is it. Can everything be changed? Like, honestly, we just have to understand that it takes little efforts from all of us to transform little by little the spaces that we are. Writing letters. If we see somebody that is writing a letter asking for a petition, and that's fair, take the 2 minutes or the 2 seconds to say, I support this.
Yes.
You know, just take 2 seconds. A lot of people are taking the time to develop all these letters, to put the facts behind, and they just ask you to share it, to sign it and share it. Do it. That simple thing can change a whole policy in the whole country, for example. So there are many things that we can do to be part of change in the process that we are growing.
Yes, we had talked a little bit earlier about, organizations and especially nowadays, in order to facilitate the change that, organizations, as they develop or they're working like, what you do, okay, is, right there in the street, hands-on, okay, getting it done. And then at the same time, the organization, in order to really sustain it, they have to be planning. So planning for what's tomorrow, and then also what's the future. And then, the next step of that is, what are we doing so that we can sustain the operation? What's next? How are we implementing what we're learning in the front line? So it just kind of, a cyclical thing. So, that's important, because you just don't learn it once. Okay. You learn critical thinking is the ability to think about things as they come. And unless we teach that, then we can't ask the hard questions.
Yes.
at all. Where do you feel that the community could really make a major shift in taking charge of the situations that they're in?
Well, it's very easy. Everybody that is supporting campaigns, those candidates that are losing or winning, stick to them. And keep asking them, what is next? What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Do we need to create an organization? Do we need to create a civic association? How can we grow? Can you bring us trainings? Keeping ourselves engaged, because sometimes we leave it to, just like when elected officials win. We said, oh, you win? All right, so I know you're going to do the best. No, you have to keep engaged and say, hey, I saw that you're doing this. Is that right? Why are you doing this? And then you make sure that you're watching and tell them, I can help with this, or you discover something that can be different. And you said, look, I saw that this is wrong. Do you know that we need this change? And the elected officials can say, oh, thanks for telling me. And how about the elected official develop a law that is going to change everything just because you brought it in? So keeping an eye on things that need to change, and look for mentors all the time. Keep yourself engaged, because this is our new now. This is our new now. Volunteer for organizations that are bringing results. Learn the best practices, and also come close to people that has integrity, that can teach you the best of you and not manipulate you. That is very important. That gives you the dignity and respect that you need, and that is vital for our communities. Look for those mentors and tell them. Don't be afraid to tell them, I don't know anything about this, but I want to keep doing something. I want to learn. I don't know, as community members, we don't see ourselves as being a person of impact.
Yes.
We are. We have to understand that we can do anything. We can become anything, because it's not difficult. Everything is just skills. I learned English. I didn't speak English when I came to this country. All right. And now it's different to learn a language out of enjoyment and leisure. And it's another thing to learning out of desperation, because you don't understand anything and you're traumatized.
Yes.
It's totally different. So for me to learn English, it took to get over my frustration, my anger, my at that moment inability to cope with being faced with feeling alone and not understood. But then I look around and I calm down and I said, do I need to feel like this? Do I want to feel like this? And I said, no. So turn the page, and I decided to do what was the best for me. And I have to make peace with all those feelings. I cried a lot, and I surrender and say, God, you got me here, right? So I decided to learn the language out of love and understanding for other people and myself, and communicate, rather than because I had to learn it. And then I learned it. The very first year, I was able to understand, speak, and all that. And within 2 years, I was like pretty much more fluent. And I'm still learning all the time, And I speak a lot in run-on sentence, because that's my spirit. That's who I am. And it's hard for me to change it. It's hard for me to speak proper English, because that's who I am. And I made my peace with that. So, but when that happened, and for many other reasons, when I became an advocate, I didn't want to do it. I just wanted to support the community. But I was very frustrated and angry because nobody was stepping out to speak truth. And I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to do it. And I had the privilege and opportunity to have Drew Sears from Network Delaware pushing me. He couldn't ask me, what do you think about this? He would be like, Erika, you're going to do this. What do you think? And I was like, I guess so. And getting me, when nobody go responding in our circles, he'll be, okay, Erika, answer this. Is that okay with you? And I was like, yes, I guess. Being passing that embarrassment side,
yes,
and just be vulnerable and be bold, because we have to be like that, who we are. That's how we learn to to understand people by being people.
Yeah.
And so I get over my embarrassment, and that has empowered me to be myself, honestly. And if somebody doesn't like me, but I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I try to be my best every time that I can. And I cannot please everybody. But I do my best to be myself and to help. I cannot help everybody all the time, but I come from a clean space, and I give what I can.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody can do anything they want. They just have to say, I can do it. And then the next thing is, how do I get there? And then step one, and be okay with step one. Don't go to step 10, because then you're going to face a wall. Step one, step two. And then you get excited from all the things steps that you're taking, and you're like, wow, it feels difficult. It feels better. Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do that. And then you're like, oops, okay, next time I'm going to be this person. I'm going to run an organization. I'm going to do that. And then we experience that ego side that says, ooh, I can do this now. And you get over your head, right?
Uh-huh.
When that happens, you have to cool down and say, hey, why am I here?
Remember.
I'm here to be an agent of change. And for that, I need to calm down, because guess what? You're going to have to teach this to every person that comes and asks you to be a mentor. You have to understand that high and over our head feeling is going to come for everybody. So what are you going to do to help them see that there is a reason to be there that high? And then you have to humble down so you can be an agent of change that is going to reproduce the same thing. And that is also hard, but it's empowering like crazy, because it fills your heart, it fills capacity, and then it gives you that space to speak truth without feeling committed or follow agendas that are not close to your heart.
Yes, that is that pure place. That is that pure place. We talk about sometimes we call it grace, when you're allowing yourself, that space. Yes, you got to this point, and now we need to come here, because it's from there that we operate most effectively.
Yes.
Okay, it really is. And if you look at real leaders or effective leaders, okay, that is one of the gifts and strengths that they have. And that, when I hear you talk about that, it's like, that's why finding a mentor, okay, and a good mentor, and being a role model come into play as we talk about sustainability, okay, with our youth. I know that you are, you highlight on your page some of the youth organizations that are doing some things in Delaware. Can you tell me a little bit about those, because that's really exciting to me?
Well, I'm gonna mention Aton Ray, and I'm gonna vote to him because I don't think most of our community understand the impact that he has brought to Delaware. Speaking about nourishing a youth that is going to transform our state politically, because the space that he comes to support kids in critical thinking and social justice is embedded in the programs that he has developed to help kids get ready for college, but also to make them aware of where we are as a society, what is their role, and the information that is given to them makes them reflect within and say, oh my gosh, my family is in this stage. I am in this stage. I didn't know why. And then out of their heart, their own heart, Aton Ray doesn't do this. Out of their heart, they decide to move on and say, how do I do this? We need to change this.
Activate.
Who we need to talk to? And they are fearless. Our students get fear. It's just beautiful, because they are learning that empowerment now. So they're going to go to college, and they have all this mindset, and they have the heart full of social justice. So when they come back to their state, or when they are ready to the workplace, every single one of them is going to be acting out of integrity and ethics for social justice. And with that, that's all I have to say. Think Sharp and Delaware Can are creating those programs for students. And to me, building that leadership in our students at early stages is the most powerful thing, the most beautiful and powerful thing that we can do for our youth, empowering them with knowledge, with tools, and with a choice. So they don't feel disempowered and diminished when they go to college, when they face life. They can say, hey, no, I think I know things can be different. Why are you doing this? Let me write a letter. Where do I send it? Right? Instead of saying, oh, I'm disempowered, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna cuddle here and that's gonna be their life. No. So that's all I have to say about those organizations and the impact that they're having.
So you said, so I can put them here, get them right in the chat. You said think sharp.
Teen sharp. Like teenager, teen sharp.
Oh, teen. Teen. Okay, yes. Sharp. Okay. And what was the other organization?
Delaware Can.
Delaware Can, yes.
Delaware Campaign for Achievement now, yes. So it's a beautiful experience. I'm so proud of those kids.
I know. I was just kind of going through, and I saw like, wow, they're really doing some things and making some changes. So as we talk about engagement and we speak about, creating change and collaborations, how is it that we can plan so that we don't make the same mistakes again in terms of collaborating with people? Because we seem to be making the same mistakes.
Yes. Well, according to my experience, is being okay with failing. Being okay with failing and on supporting or choosing places, people, and spaces. And be brave to keep looking. Also, that is very important. Educate yourself. But most important, be frank and authentic with everyone, because anything that you can say can trigger other person to be better and tend the hand and influence other people. So I will seek spaces where you can learn to develop yourself into what you need to be. Network Delaware is a place where you can learn organizing. That's what I learned, community organizing, and I'm very proud of it.
Yes, Network Delaware
gives me my wings to start, from being scared of speaking to elected officials, to do anything. I was thrown into a rally, and I was like, and I just put myself out there, and I just decided to be myself. I said, I cannot have public free, because the first rally that we did with Network Delaware, what I was involved was about the kids being caged in Texas at the border. So it wasn't about me. So never make it about yourself. Make it about who's struggling. And also when we work in issue campaigns, so many people come by and go. But let me tell you something, don't be discouraged or disengaged, because if we have an issue in our community, we have no right to step aside and go because no action is happening. If we have an issue, we still have to be there until that issue is resolved. And if we are blocked and there are barriers and doors or whatever, we need to stay there. So for me, being part of the Safe Communities campaign as one of the co-coordinators, I feel so committed and responsible to be engaged and be part of this community and this group, because I am that force that keep people glued. And when people are feeling discouraged, I said, no, don't feel like that. The issues is still there, and we still engage, and we do the steps that can be done at the moment. And then we move forward as we can, but that doesn't mean that you can do anything. But our heart has to be engaged to those issues, not because, we are used to have quick results. Quick gratification, right? And if we don't have it, it's like you need that adrenaline somewhere else.
Yeah.
Learn to calm down and be committed to a cause that fear. And if you go back, you go, just keep engaged and help in any way that you can. But as I said before, it takes courage. First, it takes humbleness and be okay with failing. We all have all those opportunities, we have to understand that sometimes we're mean, sometimes we're reckless, sometimes we're whatever. But, forgiving yourself for being that, but changing your behavior is what takes courage. So you can be part of the next you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, constantly. We talked about constantly elevating, and shedding and growing, and shedding and growing, and it's such an internal thing that I hear you saying.
Yes.
Okay, although the issues are external,
Yes.
The work starts internally, so that we can be most effective. And this becomes critically important now, as again, whatever the outcome, the outcomes are, and that's where our focus is. We need to shift. We need to shift to the organizations that you mentioned. If someone is looking to do something, I have viewers from across the country, well, internationally, and so within your community there is a network. Okay, in Delaware it happens to be Network Delaware, but there is a network organization that you can align yourself with. Safe community campaigns, that happens to be our name. But the problem, like you said when you first came on, is those issues are duplicated in every community around the world.
Yes. They are the same issues, and we respond exactly the same way, out of fear. Depending on the oppression, the violence, we act like a little different, but it's pretty much the same thing. So I also know that there are many other programs in different organizations that try to do civic education, civic engagement. So look for the one that fits you. Look for the one that makes you feel you and feel you comfortable, because not all of them are for everyone. But you have to keep looking. When I learned English, I was looking in churches, community centers, and they couldn't be my fit. I couldn't feel like I was learning for different reasons, because my learning style was different, until I found the program that worked for me, and I stick to it, and I work hard, and I made it. So the same goes for training. So keep engaged. Also, another thing that can be done is to engage with parents for school changes. Be part of when you become part of parents associations, make sure that you are bold, that you're not just selling chocolates and getting money for schools. Make sure that you are really pushing for change, how schools can be engaged into the political change and system and education. And also, don't be afraid to run for school boards. Those people make the decisions about the money, about the counselors, how many teachers of color get hired, how many, all of this. So being a school board member is as vital as elected officials in Dover and the country. That's how we can influence, because if you act from a consciousness that is looking for fairness, you're going to see the corruption and you're going to say, that's not going to happen. I'm not agreeing. Hold into that policy. Let's review it, and then show me that you're right when hiring people or superintendents. Why are you choosing these people? What are their credentials? Do they understand our community, etc., etc. But being in those positions of power give us the voice that we need. So there are many places where people can get engaged. Reach out to in Delaware, we have training for parents that is education advocacy as well. But when you learn how to be an advocate, regardless if it is education or anything, you become an advocate. You have the tools and the skills. We have a program that is called MOVE, mobilizing our voices for education, and we teach that. And Network Delaware have many issue campaigns. So look for the fit for you. What is the best space for you to learn, but keep learning, keep looking. Don't give up, because we might be like, I think I'm tired from campaigning. Now I'm just going to dedicate to my life and have fun. So it's up to you to be part of the change. We are responsible for what our elected official does too. If we don't do anything, we are responsible.
That's right. That's right.
And also to put people in office, from right now after elections, you can start telling, I don't like this person. Is doing or not doing a good job. Let's start recruiting candidates. So who can be start preparing and then go and say, do you know that you have potential? Do you like this elected official? We need a person with the candor and the ability to do better, just like you. Have you thought about becoming an elected official? And then those people might say, like, I didn't, I cool, I guess. Or they said no, but that is how you get into the habit of being an agent of change,
Yeah.
constantly thinking, what can I do? Who can I engage? What can I push for? What can I learn? It is a new shift paradigm, and we can do it. It's
That
not
is
difficult.
so
We just
right.
have to learn how to think in that way,
Mm-hmm.
and it's possible.
Yes, that's how to build a sustainable organization. That is how to build an organization that is sustainable. You've got to keep growing it. You've got to keep bringing people in. You've got to keep recognizing, talent, transitioning, having our youth walk with us as we move through, having them develop the policies, working together, all right, so that we can help them get those policies and ideas implemented. That's what I see, and that's what I experienced, growing up in a home where, we were socially conscious. We were socially conscious, so it's a natural thing for me. But again, that's what I was trained to do. All right.
Mm.
We all have the voice. We just need to activate it or reach out to me, reach out to you. Because sometimes, everyone can't put a word around it. Or there's a situation, that requires some wisdom or some consultation. We may not personally be the ones to resolve it, but clearly, we can be directed. And you're right, getting involved in the school board and the school district, uh, so that we can make the changes from the inside,
Yes, exactly.
along with the outside as well. And that's really what I have seen you do. Let's see. So, how can we? I wanted to put this in here. How can we get a hold of you? I know that you have the Community Champions page, or how would you like our listeners to?
Yeah, that's fine. The community champions page is fine, and I can also share with you my email address for people to write me if they would like to. We also let me just type it here for
Okay.
you. Yes.
I'll do that. Okay. This is wonderful. I asked Erika at the last minute if she would join us, and I am so glad that she accepted. Here, let me just put this here in the right place. All right, very good. So we're going to do this. We're going to have it. Technology, I'll tell you.
Well, while you do that, I would like to share one more thing.
I'm going to
That
ask you to.
we are never going to be enough for many people.
Mm.
We are never going to be enough for some, and we're going to be perfect for other people. And we need to be okay with that. We
Mhm.
have to understand that who we are is not for everyone to understand, but we have to respect ourselves and who we are, and not try to fit with the Jonases. What if that is like a classic term. We don't have to fit with the mainstream or with a group or another. We have to be ourselves, and if some people gets us, that's great, and if they don't, well, that's great too. But we have to understand that we are who we are, and we have to stand for ourselves regardless, and believe in you and believe in the people that is with you. And when we are growing, just something that I practice constantly, we know
Mhm.
when we get over our heads, always run back to your mentors and say, look, something is going on, and talk to them I say, tell me what can I do better, because I see that I am doing this and that. Am I doing all right or not? And then I go back all the time. I'm constantly talking to Adam Ray and Tanya, which are my mentors, but also to Drew Series,
Yes.
because I constantly need the three of them. I need their advice. I need for them to keep teaching me and making me better, because I need them, and as they learn from me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I am humble enough to recognize when I need to ground myself. So that takes a lot of humbleness, and we have to learn to be that
Mm-hmm.
without feeling that we are diminishing ourselves. We have to do that in order to serve our communities better, because again, it never has to be about us. It has to be always about our purpose. Even if we don't know what it is, we have a higher goal, and while we find it, we need to be on the right path, and be able to assess and ask for help.
I love it. Erika, thank you so very much for sharing up with us today. Thank you to my audience for joining. You know how I love that, we're here and we're on our mission to educate, inform, impact, and connect. And Erika, we appreciate your contributions, and I know that our paths will continue to cross, because it just keeps happening. So I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
building and collaborating with you in the future. All right, family. Thanks so very much for joining Talks with Tanya. We will be back again next week, same time, same line. On Tanya Inspires on Facebook. You can find me, Tanya Inspires, on Instagram. You can reach me at Tanya@TanyaInspires.com. And so, million ways to get me. I appreciate you. Y'all stay safe and stay inspired. Good night, everyone.